Okay, so this video is part 3 of Contemplative Science, and this video, I'd just like to continue to go into these, what the mystics and the sages are saying in Contemplative Science, what you find. Not only do you find that there's this primordial awareness which we're all grounded in, but we also find some other very interesting and strange things, such as memories of previous lifetimes, of other consciousness, very strange, bizarre things that at this point probably are not testable by empirical science, but through the eyes of a cosmonaut, of an inner cosmologist, of this contemplative science, they're accessible and repeatable. So, so yes, I was just going over sort of like the parts of, let's see, Principles of Contemplative Science from B. Alan Wallace, from his book Contemplative Science. Such memories, such as these ones we're talking about, so he's saying, through rigorous training, one may allegedly retrieve memories that precede the current life, remembering, like Pythagoras, the circumstances of preceding lives. I think that's interesting that the East and the West have this same kind of intuition to, having previous lives. Such memories are not stored in the brain, though as long as the mind is embodied, the brain is necessary to retrieve them. Memories are stored in, a manner of speaking, in the continuum of substrate consciousness, which carries on from lifetime to lifetime. Um, so I guess that explains the soul, maybe? I don't know. The conclusion is based on experiences of highly trained contemplatives who have refined their attention in ways unknown to modern science, as I was just mentioning. Um, Without such development of the internal telescope for samatha, for exploring deep states of conscious, scientific evidence of reincarnation is limited to the field studies of researchers like Ian Stevenson. I don't know who that guy is. Maybe he did the thing about, fact checking people who had previous lives, seeing if these memories are real. Um, while it may appear to be a Buddhist version of an immortal soul, it is important to note differences. Contemplatives who achieved samatha commonly depict this dimension of consciousness as a stream of arising and passing moments of awareness. So it is not a single entity persisting through time, nor is it unchanging. Moreover, it influences the psyche and is conditioned by physical and mental events. So it's not independent. So it's subject to variables too. Um, the substrate consciousness may be characterized as the relative ground state of the individual mind, in the sense that within context of an individual mind stream, it entails the lowest possible state of activity, with the highest potential and degree of freedom of possibility. For example, once an individual stream of consciousness has been aroused from the dreamless sleep, it can freely manifest in a vast diversity of dreamscapes and experiences. He's basically saying lucid dreaming. Um, Such exceptional creativity is displayed while under deep hypnosis, which also taps, he says, into substrate consciousness, but this potential is most effectively accessed when one lucidly penetrates to the substrate consciousness by means of samatha, or has been achieved in a number of great contemplative traditions around the world. So, and let me relate this to Tibetan Buddhism, which focuses highly on these aspects that he's talking about. Um, it's not that this is trying to say like, oh, you have magical powers, you can see past lifetimes, you grow. Like it's almost an evolution of self-awareness. And if we look at this from an evolutionary perspective, we are sort of, I mean, in a sense, two things as one. We're evolving, and life is always getting these great, I guess you could say, landmarks. These great points in time where suddenly awareness shifts and becomes greater. I mean, think of how the brain has evolved over 4.5 billion years. Think that 200 years ago or so, a little bit less, we discovered evolution. I mean, these are like fundamental shifts in awareness, and just as we are exploring the outer reality, the outer dimensions, there are these cosmic shifts in the inner dimensions and discovering, this. But this is much older. This is something we've had for thousands of years. So, um, it's just interesting to note maybe it's not as linear, but at the same time, it's still amazing to be able to go through this greater awareness. And I mean, this is the question: who are you? Who am I? That Ramana Maharshi poses. And there are various practices that can help you understand that. And So yes, that's basically the point of this video, sort of saying, well, if you want to find out whether any of this is real, you're going to have to go ahead and practice. You're going to have to walk the walk, the inner walk. So, I guess that's the end of this video. Just raising a couple more points about contemplative science and some of the byproducts, what you discover in this science. So yes, response videos, reflections, comments, critiques, all welcome. Thanks for listening.